In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at an app called the Church app. Now, the Church app allows you to access content from various churches within one mobile app. It gives you access to potentially thousands of churches and the content they have placed on the web. You can easily play videos or listen to messages from your favorite church leaders. All this in a very user-friendly interface that allows you to pause, skip back 15 seconds, skip forward 15 seconds, or resume where you left off the last time you used the app. In addition, it has the best interface for playing my favorite Bible study videos from thebibleproject.com. I am so excited to see this resource as one of the featured resources to add to the app. Now, this app is available on all of the major platforms. You can get it on an iPhone, Android phone, Windows phone, a Kindle, or a Blackberry. So if you're using an iPhone, I'm going to show you how to go ahead and download it from the App Store. And I'm just going to type in here the Church app. Okay, and that's the one right there. Press that. Now, I had to uninstall the Church app in order to show you this demo, so I'm going to go ahead and press this up here to download it from the cloud. So it's going to install. All right, now I'm going to open it. And the first thing you're going to do is just go ahead and press Let's Go. Now I'm going to go ahead and enable my location. It's going to pull up a listing of all the churches that are in my area. So I'm going to scroll through until I see the church that I belong to. It's this one right here. Now it's going to ask for me to turn notifications on. You can do this according to your liking. I'm going to go ahead and turn mine on. And then I will press allow to allow it to send me notifications. So you would think once you've set those notifications that it would allow all the notifications to come through, but what you'll find is you'll need to go up to the menu. I refer to this as the hamburger menu. It's like there's a bun on top, meat in the middle, and a bun on bottom. So the hamburger menu, go there, go to settings, go to notifications, go to the church that you just set up, and you'll see that the actual notification is not turned on. So I need to go ahead and turn it on there. All right, now I can go back. Now the next thing that you're going to want to do as you're going back to this menu is you want to go ahead and log in or sign up if you don't have a free account. So that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to log in. All right, I'm going to continue with email. Now if you didn't have an account already, you could press on this area right here to create an account. So I'm going to go ahead and press there. This is going to be a test account I'm going to set up. So once you've entered the information to set up your account, you're just going to press done or to sign up. You may have to scroll up to see that. So now I've already switched over to my email account and confirmed my address. So I'm just going to go back. I guess I'm going to have to sign back in. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and log back in. So now as I go back to the main menu, I come down here and I look and I see, well, there's the church that I added at the very beginning. All right, so I'm going to go into the favorites for just a moment. And you'll see that it also added the church that I added at the very beginning to the favorites. Okay, so that's just by default. And that's considered your home church. You can change that later and I'll show you how to do that. So now I'm just going to X out here. Now I'm going to show you how you can use search. So as I go to search, there's two ways that you can search. All right, let's say I want to use a search term, let's say the term holy. And it's going to go out there and search through all the media that they have loaded on their church app. And it's going to pull up any sermons that are related to holy. So it could be God is holy, or it could be something like Holy Spirit. And to choose that particular video to watch, you would just press that to select it. Okay, but now I'm going to show you how you can search for churches. All right, so I'm going to switch over. So as you search by churches, you can search up here and type in the name of a church. You could type in here a city, a state, or a zip code to find churches in that area, or you can scroll through this list of what they refer to as their featured resources. So discover various churches through these featured resources. So I'm going to go ahead and add that right now. And what this does is it pulls up all the videos that are produced by the people at thebibleproject.com. So this interface is the best interface I've seen to review all their videos. So as you come in here and you look at, say, the New Testament, I'm going to press on that to select it. It's got every one of their videos that are on the New Testament books. So some books might have 2 videos like Matthew does here. Others might just have 1 like Mark. But every book in the Bible has at least 1 video. And this just makes it a really clean interface where you can scroll and find the exact one you wish to watch. And I think I'm going to go ahead and just play the one from Ephesians just part of the way to give you an idea. So you can either play the video or you could just listen to it. I'm going to go ahead and choose play.
Paul's letter to the Ephesians. The story of how Paul came to the city of Ephesus is really interesting. You can go read about it in Acts chapter 19. Ephesus was a huge city. It was the epicenter of worship for most of the Greek and Roman gods. And for over 2 years, Paul had a really effective missionary presence there, and lots of people became followers of Jesus. Years later, after being imprisoned by the Romans, Paul wrote this letter. The movement of thought in the letter divides into 2 really clear halves. In the first half, Paul is exploring the story of the gospel, how all history came to its climax in Jesus and in his creation of this multi-ethnic community of his followers. The second half of the letter is linked to the first by the word therefore. And here Paul explores how the gospel story should affect how we live every part of our life story. And Paul has drawn all of these pieces of body armor from the book of Isaiah and how Isaiah depicted the Messianic king. And so now, as the Messiah's followers, we need to make the Messiah's attributes our own, since we make up Jesus' body. Practically, I think Paul means for Christians to begin to form habits, proactively using prayer and the scriptures and our relationships with each other to help us grow and mature as followers of Jesus. And that's the letter to the Ephesians. Very powerful. It's where Paul summarizes the whole gospel story and how it should reshape every part of our life story.
Okay, I hope that video will pique your interest in what's available out there through thebibleproject.com. They've even got videos on various series of the Bible. This is a really great series right here. All their resources are just outstanding. I would highly recommend them. All right, we're going to go back and do another search on a church. I'm going to click up here and make sure I'll press up here and make sure that churches is selected. And right here, I'm just going to type in a name. All right, so as I've typed in that name, it pulls up a church. Let's say this is the one I want to add. I'm just going to press on it to select it. Now, what you'll notice as you come in here and you look at any of these churches that you pull up, the menu structure at the bottom will change. It will adapt to whatever the menu structure is for this particular church. So here, if you want to look at their videos, you want to make sure you're in the home section, and you can scroll through their sermon series, or what they're referring to as their testimony videos. So let's just go to the sermon series. And here you could pick any of these. Let's just pick this one. Press on that. Here you can play the video. Now when you start the video, you'll notice that there are some playback controls. So right here it tells you how long the video will be. So this is like their entire service that they put out here on the web. So it's 1 hour and 40 minutes long basically. This will tell you how long you're into the video that you're playing. This is the playback speed. If I wanted to change that playback speed, I could just press it and I could change that speed by sliding it to whatever I want. All right, if I wanted to go forward or backwards, I could hit these buttons, backwards for 15 seconds or forward for 15. So as I press that, you can see I'm going forward 15 seconds. I could also turn the phone to a horizontal position and have the video take up the full screen of the phone. Since I'm recording this and I want it to fit in this format, I'm just going to leave it vertical. So you can take this scrub bar and you can just pull that forward to wherever you wish. Let's say I wanted to bring it to there and let go. Then as you go to press play.
This day forward, the 10th of May, 2020. From this day forward, this was the day of the prophecy that was prophesied by Haggai. He is saying that from this.
Now another thing that you can do is you can press this button up here and that will perform an AirPlay to another device like a TV, an Apple TV. If you choose these three little dots down here in the top right, you can share the video with someone. So if I just were to click share right now, I could share it by text message, by an email, or if you wanted to save it into your notes, which would allow you to replay that video very easily and find it very easily. So I'm just going to X out of that. I don't need to share it right now. Now another thing I want to show you is we searched for this particular church, but in order to find that easily again the next time, I'm going to want to save that as a favorite. And to do that, I'm just going to come up here and go back. Then I'm going to click these three little dots up here in the top right. And I'm going to click or select Add to Favorites. Okay. Now I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back again and keep going back. So I'm hitting that back button that was up here. So if I come back up here and go to the menu now, and I come down to the Favorites section and press that, you can see I've now added the Church of the Apostles to my favorites, and I've got Silverdale Baptist Church as a favorite and also marked as a home. But you'll notice I do not have the Bible Project listed up here. And the reason is I did a search for it and found it, but I never made it a favorite. So what I need to do is, if I wanted to come back to that frequently, I need to do the search again. Press on the churches. Come down here and I see there it is. So I'm just going to add it again. Now I'm going to come up to the three dots again up here. And I'm going to say add to favorites. Now one more thing I want to mention about the Bible Project videos, and that is they've got their videos in English, but if you press up here they also have it in Spanish, so that could come in handy for any of your Spanish speaking friends. Alright, I'm going to switch back to English. If I come back up here to these three dots, I could actually change my home, and I'm going to do that as an example here. I'm going to set this one as my home. That way, whenever I exit the app and come back in, it's always going to pull me into the BibleProject.com and open that up first. So I'm going to click Continue. Now as I exit the app, okay, now I'm going to come back into the app. So I'm pressing on the church app right here. And so now you can see it's going to open up directly to the BibleProject.com resources. Now you can always go up here to the menu. So I'm going up to the hamburger menu. And I press favorites, and you can see I still can get to the other churches that I've added. So let's say I wanted to add one more church to my favorites. I'm just going to X out here. I'm going to go to the search. I'm going to make sure that I press on the churches. And I'm just going to just scroll down through, and I'll just add one of these that's here as a featured church. Let's say I want to add Tony Evans. I could press that. There's all of his resources that are out here on the web. You've got your audio, you've got your video, you've got a Bible app, you've got what they call the Grow portion. I'm not sure what that's going to be. And then another feature that says apps. So apparently there's other apps you can get as well. So I'm going to go back to video. So let's say you want to go to this top one right here. You would just select it. And you can either play the video, or if you just want to listen to the audio, you can just click listen. You can also download the resource if you wished, and that would download it, allowing you to play this message if you were in an area where you didn't have internet connectivity. And I go back to my downloads. You can see I've got that one available, so I could play that if I was in an area where I didn't have Wi-Fi connectivity. If you ever need to delete that download, you can just click these three dots and hit delete. All right, one more thing I want to mention to you real quick. If we go back up to the menu now, and I go back to search, Now, if you're in media, it's going to search through all your media. So right now it was set to Tony Evans, his church website. I'm going to come in here to the search and type in holy. This is a search we did earlier today. So there's nothing that he's got, no results for the word holy. But if I were to press this little arrow right here, you see I can pick any of the churches that are favorites. So I could search by any of these individually, or I could do all of them and say done. And it's going to go out there and search through all the resources. And you can see there's the same one that we had earlier from Silverdale Baptist Church, God is Holy. But then you've also got Holy Spirit that's part of the Bible Project resources. So there again, I could play any of these videos directly from this screen right here. So now I'm going to go back up to this menu and I'm going to show you an example of how you can remove a resource from the favorites list. So I'm going to go back up to these three dots, press it, and say remove from favorites. Now when I switch back to say one of my other resources, you'll notice it's not part of my favorites. All right, now I want to show you an example of going to a video and starting the video. But maybe as you're playing the video,
Most people assume the Bible has a lot to say about how messed up humans are, and that's true.
let's say you get interrupted in the video, and just to give it a good example, I'm going to use a scrub bar and scrub forward, and let's say we're at the minute 56-second spot. Okay, and I'm going to play just a moment of that.
Some idol statues, he searches all of Jacob's belongings, and he finds nothing.
So I've stopped the video at the 2-minute mark. And let's say I got interrupted and perhaps I even had to exit the app. So let me just go ahead and exit the app. But now I'm going to come back in and open up the Bible app. And this could be hours later or days later. And I want to go back to that exact video and right at the spot where I last left off. Well, this little icon right here that kind of looks like an audio waveform type indicator, these lines up and down. If you'll tap that right there, it will take you to the last video that you were in at the exact spot where it left off. So I'm right at the 2-minute mark, and I could resume right where I was at, or probably better, back it up a couple of the 15 seconds, and now I get the context for where I left off in the last video, and I can just resume by pressing the play button.
Against someone, you pasha with them. That is, you break trust with that person. The same idea appears in an Old Testament law about theft. If an Israelite is away on a trip and somebody sneaks in.
So those are some great features that they have within the church app. Okay, so there's one last thing I want to show you. If you'll press these three dots right down here at the very bottom, you can actually switch from video to just audio. So say you're in your car and you don't want to use the video feature for whatever reason, you can switch to audio.
And somebody sneaks into their house and steals something, that's robbery. But if the thief was your neighbor, it's pesha, because there's someone you should be able to trust. Or there's a story.
You can even put your phone in standby mode and it will continue playing the audio with the screen off to extend battery life. So those are some handy features related to the church app. All right, I hope you have enjoyed this video on how to use the church app. If you like this video, please subscribe to this channel to see other ways of using technology to draw near to God.